to talk about Operation Zero from start to finish, like not start to where we're present. Um, it started off as Operation Zero. It's now transitioned into Operation 2.0, but it's still the same heart, it's the same passion, just a different style. So, Jeremy, if you want to go over
Yeah,
where you started, who kind of helped.
yeah. So I remember it like it was yesterday. I was actually, and it's no miraculous story. Like I said in the last segment, it's no miraculous story like somebody that I was very, very close to was touched by cancer, and I felt moved to get involved. And you know, I do wish it was that romantic, but I was literally laying in bed scrolling Facebook, and I saw a post about somebody who was deliberating end of life, uh, writing their will and deliberating whether to invest in their cancer treatment or leave a larger nest egg for their children. And it was just this really, really heavy wave of realization that came over me that cancer is not just terminal a lot of times a terminal diagnosis for your physical health, but for your financial well-being as well. And and man, what a one-two punch to deal with when you already realize that your time with your loved ones is going to be cut short, and you realize then that the only way to extend that time is to cut short their financial inheritance, and perhaps saddle them with extra debt or funeral costs or whatever's associated with looking at end of life. And uh and man, with all of the, and I know that you know what I'm talking about, with all of the psychological repercussions that comes with a cancer diagnosis, I mean, like, this is just too much. And it just, at that point, it really was like we were in a position at Paragon where we could, do anything, something, just to let people know that somebody realized what was happening with them, and was willing to just show that they care. And it started off very, very small. We had some material that was owned by us, that was in production for our FECO line. FECO was very, very under the radar in Oklahoma at that point in time. There was not a ton of people who were buying it commercially, and so we weren't supporting our business off of that product line, and we just said, hey, what if we just gave this away? And so that started the mission of Operation Zero right there. And we didn't file a not-for-profit corporation yet. We didn't do any of the logistical things that you're supposed to do whenever you're starting something like this. What we did was we created a new label, slapped it on there, and put a 1 cent sign on the label, and got it out to market to a few of our partner dispensaries. Boom, within a week or two, we had growers reaching out to us. Hey, how can we get involved in this? I see that you guys are doing this. This is amazing. I had dispensaries reaching out. Hey, this is making such a big difference for our cancer patients. We have this extra shake from our growers that we're not utilizing in the dispensary. Can we donate that? And so it was like a light bulb came on that for the first time, that went, whoa, this can be bigger than just our spare products, finding a good home in the market. And so it became an actual operation, and we started taking on donations and started, and one of the people that doesn't get enough credit in this sense is Isaac Cavanis with the Oki Express. Man, he was doing transportation and sales for my company at the time, and he took on the distribution and management of these products and assets at absolutely zero cost, in a time when he was trying to get his business off the ground as well as I was. And
And
man,
excitingly doing so too. I
yeah,
remember I remember watching him come in, and he would just be so excited every time there was an Operation Zero order to take out. Like he
Yeah,
just loved
yeah.
it.
Picking up, he would drive sometimes 4 hours one way, 4 hours the other way to pick up a donation of like a pound and a half of biomass for us to process
Yep.
for penny FECO. And
I
you
remember
know,
these spaces. I remember
just
Scott with Greenhealer coming
yep.
in and with his donations and the donation
Hmm.
jar that he set out and the patients in there donated to the program and which they're still with us.
Yeah,
They are one of our regular dispensaries that have it. I
that's
remember all
amazing.
of this. I remember just watching all of it and just being amazed at what was going on.
So at some point in this journey, something really special happened, and I didn't realize the consequence of it at the time. But at some point in this journey, you and I sat down at a Starbucks and had a meal together, and just talked about kind of our mutual passion for this. And uh, you know, you had what was it RSO Mama?
Yeah, I had the
Is
RSO mama.
RSO Mama, and you were journaling people's
Yes.
journeys with
Yep.
cannabis and cancer. And man, it was just like boom, 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 boom. We started clicking, and and
I
you
remember
know,
being so nervous that day. I remember like sitting in my car and getting out, and it was like I have to go sell my idea to somebody with nothing. Like I have no money to put behind this, no nothing. And this man is either gonna look at me like I'm crazy or he's gonna see the passion and want to nurture it. And I'm so thankful that that's the path that you chose was to nurture it because you let me
hey,
as a stranger come into the lab and learn and do paperwork and
let me tell
get
you
my
something,
start.
Jamie. If you weren't crazy, this never would have worked.
Yeah, that's true.
So
That's true.
we've all got to be a little crazy to believe that we can get something like this going. And speaking of getting something like this going, we did have another moment that I had no idea the relevance or significance of, and that was when Mr. Jim Garanser called me, and him and I spoke for, it felt like 5 minutes. It was like 45 minutes, our first phone conversation. Um, and man, talk about a man of action. He was just ready to go, do whatever we needed to do to get this thing the fuel that it needed to take off. And that was really somewhere between those two conversations was where Operation Zero became Operation 2.0 and got a new breath of life breathed into it. And now that I don't know if everybody knows this, but I'm completely out of the cannabis industry. Um, my life has taken another turn, taking me in a different direction. It's taken me back to construction. Um, there was the hardest part of stepping out of the cannabis industry was knowing that I wasn't going to be able to continue this mission. And so from the bottom of my heart, I mean, just knowing that you guys are taking this in the way that you are and running with it and making an impact in people's lives, it really makes uh, the pill to swallow easier of not being able to be involved anymore. So
Well, it's not that you can't be involved because you know that you're not out.
not
You're
not
not
to the
out.
not you know what I mean, not to the extent that I was.
Not to the extent that you were, but yeah, I think there's a part of you that's always going to live on with this, and that's what's really exciting about this. I think this is bigger than all of us at this point.
Mhm.
It really is. So we're hoping to see this,
It was
outlive.
always supposed to be.
Yeah,
I can't wait to see Taylor's segment with Twin Seed Extracts, man.
yeah.
He's so basically you've taken over the logistical um, corner of things. Jim's taken over the financial corner of things. Taylor's taken over the operational corner of things. Like you know, what would I even do?
Yeah. Yeah, it's like
You know?
we can't leave Taylor out because
No.
without Taylor, this would not be you know, he opened so Jeremy's lab closed down. The kitchen that I was in and doing things, we shut that down. So everybody's in this point in this industry where it's really hard. And Taylor very easily could have been like, no man, you know, I gotta stay on my own focus. And instead he opened up his facility to keep this going because he was part of this. He was in there making the FECO for the original Operation Zero along with Jeremy. His
Yep.
heart and soul is in this. So when there was, I remember before we met, right before we got a chance to sit down with Jim, I remember sending you a message and saying, hey, I'm really feeling like I need to take this and do something with it. And I was like, I could do it in your name, or I could do it in a different name. Like, and he's like, no, you know, let's do it. Let's keep let's keep it Operation Zero and keep it going. And then the way that everything just hit. So then a Facebook post, guys, this is how easily it came. A Facebook post. Jim made a post asking who was doing the program in Oklahoma. And of course, I'm not on Facebook all day long. Jeremy's not on Facebook all day long. But all of you guys who know us tagged us, both those, which made that connection with Jim. Jeremy spent, you know, he said he spent a good time on the phone with them. I have spent an incredible amount of time on the phone with Jim and his team. Jim has created quite a team all over the United States leading up to this FECO playbook already. And to be able to combine what we've done off on our side with what he's done, especially with the financial support that he brings to the table. And just not just financial support, it's the mentorship and he's so dedicated to what he's doing that he keeps me on task. So like every Monday I get my list of, hey, these are the dreams for this week or this month. This is our vision this week. And it's amazing to have somebody who's so goal oriented and
has walked the path before with,
yes.
You know, with early recognition is critical and FECO playbook and, you know, all of the organizations that he's, you know, gotten legs under prior to this. I mean, it's really, I can't understate how important it is to have somebody that knows the road and has walked it there to show us the way. It's really awesome.
Yeah.
So now that we have a way, how do we get involved with how do we sign up for the Dollar FECO program?
Okay, so right now, if a cancer patient would like to be on the Dollar FECO program, they would go to fecoplaybook.org, just some contact information on this form. And from there, it actually goes to our team's inbox, and we send you out a profile to fill out. That just tells us, like, you know, where you are. That way I can figure out, you know, which dispensary to put you with, what you're dealing with, as much information as you're willing to give. We have a licensed nutritionist involved in this program, so we do ask questions. Now we'll talk with her later today. Jennifer Hawkins, we adore her with Hawkeye Consulting. So we do have options. As much information as you're willing to share is as much feedback as we can give you. So like I said, the FECO playbook is designed as a survey says database. So we're going to give you information off of what another cancer patient did or what worked for another cancer patient, as well as the nutritionist will provide, you know, dietary recommendations. And once you fill out that profile, let's kind of talk about how that goes next. So once you fill out that profile, you get an email and it'll say your pickup location is, we'll use Green Hiller, for example, Green Hiller in Elk City. And your pickup code number is 10-005, whatever your pickup number is. Okay, so when you go into that dispensary, you will go in and you tell them your name and your code. And they go ahead and from there, let's do a screen share. That way they can see what the dispensaries look like. Um, and we did, okay. So this is what on the dispensary side. Okay, so when you walk into a dispensary and you're in the Operation Zero program, every dispensary has their own reservation list that looks like this now. So you'd walk in, and it's as easy as they'd click on it, pull up your name. I know Amber won't mind, so I'm going to go ahead and do Amber. So this will say how many grams were reserved and ask how many she picked up. Okay, so this is all you need. We've already stocked it. We've already supplied it. This tells me that you're getting all of your FECO, that it's not going somewhere else, so it's going to you. This helps me keep track of the FECO that's there, so I know I can send out 100 syringes out to a dispensary, and I'm going to know every single place that it went, and that it went to all of the cancer patients that we have on the program. As well as they all have, if you walk into any of these dispensaries, they all have an option to easily let you leave that day with a syringe. So they would just input a little bit and tell them to expect an email, and then it allows them to leave with a syringe that day, and then we collect the rest of the information. So let me go ahead and do a stop share on that. So that's kind of how, Jeremy, that's the first time you've seen that.
Yeah, that's amazing.
What is it like to see the reservation process on that end?
That is amazing. I can't tell you how many times I've dreamt of having a tool like that, and to see it in action is mind blowing.
Yeah. We heard. So I mean, I do not want to discredit anything that Operation Zero did before, because what was it, like 20,000 syringes that you were?
Yeah, I don't have an exact number. I just remember the whenever we crossed the threshold into the six-figure donation mark. I remember we had a big celebration over that. It was we did a lot, but it was still in its infancy in terms of its effectiveness and how we could really make an impact in people's lives. It really wasn't concentrated enough to help anyone to the extent that it is now.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, it was helping.
It was helping a lot of people, but it wasn't. It was too wide. There was a lot of issues, just stemming from the fact that we hadn't invested enough in the logistical side of it. And that's not to say, don't ever let being unprepared stop you from doing something.
Yeah.
And that was my main philosophy in this whole industry, was that I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to do it. And I'm not going to let being unprepared stop me. But yeah, there's been so much growth between there and here. And I'm just so proud and so impressed with what this organization is like now.
Yep. So this is this for me has been one of the, I'm gonna say, one of the worst and one of the best experiences ever, all in the same.
Yeah.
The level of defeat that I have felt trying to get this going, I can't even imagine what you were feeling at sometimes, because I remember especially after I heard, your doors are closing, you're feeling, kind of that empty feeling of it not going again. But I was also feeling that. I was also feeling it, and I didn't know how to make it happen, and I was feeling defeated, and I kept trying and kept trying and kept trying. Different things didn't work out, and then when we finally got to gym, I was like, I understand now why things didn't work out. I understand why I was in a,
it was perfect.
It was perfect. Yeah,
serendipitous.
We couldn't have asked for a better.
The timeline, everything just fell. I mean, I know that in the moment it probably felt like it was a lot of fighting uphill, but man, the timeline of how everything came together with Taylor's lab and with Jim and you, and it just fell. It could not have happened more perfectly in my in my opinion.
Yeah. Another lab that we have that doesn't get enough credit for what they do for us is Dauntless. Um, Dauntless has, yep, Dauntless has been helping with the supply of FECO quite often.
Nice.
I absolutely, we'll get into that a little bit later. That is a connection from my partner Justin Lowry made on my commercial line. So shout out to him too. And I'll go through like that relationship, but they're another one that deserves a shout out and kind of credit in this industry for what they're doing to help. I mean, there's a lot of people that deserve a shout out, but
yeah,
specifically with the Operation Zero
inevitably
program.
going to miss people. I mean, there's just so many people in the state that have contributed to this. There's so many dispensaries and so many growers, and there's honestly my biggest regret is that there's not a way to give credit to everybody who deserves it. But I don't think that, I think that 98% of people don't care about that. I mean, most of the people who were involved, didn't care where it was going, as long as it was getting into the hands of a cancer patient. A lot of the growers, yeah, sure, they would like a little bit, or a lot of the dispensaries, sure, they would like a little bit to run through their store, but most of them, just as long as it's going to serve the cause and get medicine to cancer patients, people have been incredibly generous, and I couldn't even begin to write a list of the people who've contributed to this.
Yes, I started to. I kind of dug back into the old files and
Yeah.
was looking, and I started to, and I was like, man, this has just been the amount of hearts that we've connected to on this project has blown me away. And we need that, because on the back end of this is incredibly hard. You are trying your best to stay positive with people who are truly terrified.
Yeah.
And they are looking for answers, for help, for somebody to listen and somebody to care.
And that, that it's tough. I said that most people, really didn't care. It's always the loudest ones that make problems. There's been times that people were like, I was only able to get 15 syringes, and and it breaks your heart, because you know that you're never going to be able to provide as much as this state needs.
Yeah.
I mean, like, that's just something that you have to know going into this, that you're never going to be able to fill the need.
As we get ready to sync out to our next guest, is the humbleness that Jeremy exhibits, that it reminds me of the butterfly effect and how tiny changes massively impact outcomes. And certainly you've done a tremendous job at getting it going, getting it off the launch pad, which is really, it might be the hardest of them all. So shout out to you, Jeremy, and your continued support. As you can see,
thank you, Larry. It means a lot.
Watching cartoons instead, but no, you're here. So that's,
hey, I can multitask.
Yeah.
Well, I just want to add in and say thank you to Jeremy. It means a whole lot to me that you're here. Your continued support through this means the world to me. There's not many people that I'm going to say this, and I don't really care how it sounds. I'm not here to compete with anybody, and I could care too less what anybody's opinions are of me most of the time. I'm going to do what I'm going to do, and I'm going to continue pushing through whether or not anybody thinks this is a good idea or bad idea, and there's nobody's going to stop me. But with that said, there are a handful of people that I look to get my "you're doing okay" or "you're on the right track," and Jeremy, you are one of those. So
you are doing okay, and you are on the right track. I just I am so thrilled that the program is evolved the way that it has, and that it's in the hands that it is.
Thank you. Hi everyone, welcome back to Hope Fest. We are so excited to sit down and have a chance to sit down and talk about Operation Zero. Guys, this is a major passion project. This started in 2019 with Jeremy and Ruthie Dedman. They have given over 20,000 syringes to cancer patients around Oklahoma for at their time they were doing it for a penny a gram. When Jeremy shut down his commercial license, we had some conversations, and I decided to, with the help of Jim Garnisher, to pick up the Operation Zero program and continue it. I want to introduce Kat. Kat has been incredibly supportive of this program, guys. She is in the background with me constantly. Anytime I get a delivery that needs to go out, I call her up. Anytime we get some good news or there's a problem with the program or anything like that, she is always in the background helping me. Man, so since the relaunch of Operation Zero, we have given out over 2 liters of FECO for $1 a gram. Yeah, so that is anywhere, depending on who's selling it, that's anywhere from $20,000 to $40,000 worth of product that we have given out for $2,000. We've had some incredible people with us who have helped us keep the cost down low, who have helped donate products, their time.
A lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do we think? There's like 50 cancer patients, I think, right now that the program is taking care of.
Split up between like 4 dispensaries.
Yep. And they, so every cancer patient on the program, you can start. So if you're in the chat and listening, and wondering how to get signed up if you're a cancer patient, you go to FECOPlaybook.org, and you can go browse through all the information. There's tons of educational information on there. And then there is a request form on there. And on that request form, if you will just send out just basic little information, contact information, it will go to our inbox. And from that, we send a message out, and we give you a chance to upload a profile. This gives us information, lets us know what your needs are. And then from that, you'll go to a reservation process.
Yes.
That is our probably like most exciting feature that we've added over the last couple of years, is this reservation process. Every dispensary gets their own reservation site with a list of all the cancer patients that are being supported at their dispensary. It lets them know how many grams they need to pick up, and it helps us like keep everybody on track and make sure everybody gets what they're supposed to be getting for these cancer patients on the program. This gives them an opportunity. So once they do the profile, that gives them an opportunity to go pick up a full week supply. And then you check your email, and in your email, there will be a weekly survey. Once you complete that survey, it sends you right back into reservations. So every week, the cancer patients just have to fill out a little form, and then we provide them with another week of FECO for $1 per gram.
Yeah.
Man.
$7.
Yeah.
For a week supply.
Let's talk about like so Kat is one of the participating dispensaries. She's got Groovy Cat's dispensary. And what do we have, like 15 cancer patients in this?
I think so. It's like 15 or something like that.
It's like 15 cancer patients that come here. Tell me about their experience with them.
It's pretty simple. A lot of cancer patients feel like they have a bunch of hoopla to jump through, and you really don't have to. You can go onto FECOPlaybook.org and you can just fill out the application. You don't even have to do anything else on the website if you don't want to. The website just has extra knowledge for you. It also is the recipes on there.
Yeah.
The rest of the cookbooks is on there. There's a bunch of stuff on there, but you can just go on there and fill out an application as long as you have an OMMA card, and it sends it all into Jamie's email, and she disperses it from there. It's as simple as you just going into your regular dispensary with your card. We're going to do a walkthrough with you guys to show you how simple it is. But for you to just sign up, it's completely different from the beginning. You used to have to bring like a letter stating, your diagnosis. You don't even have to do that anymore. You just do everything on FECOPlaybook.org, and then it gets sent to all your local dispensaries where you need to go. And you just go and pick it up with your card.
And save like $140 a week.
Yeah, right now it's anywhere from, I think, $10 to $20 a gram retail. So for cancer patients, they're able to get it for the dollar a gram. So they're able to come and spend $7 a week for the 7 grams instead of $20 a gram.
Yes. That is been such a blessing in so many lives. We hear so much feedback on that.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're a cancer patient, you're usually drowning in all kinds of stuff, not just debt, all kinds of medical bills that come up. There's all kinds of life stressors. There's a whole mental battle that you go through. And the last thing that we want anybody to have to do is worry that they can't afford to fight their cancer.
Yeah, with a plant medicine.
With plant medicine. So we've seen some amazing results in this program, guys. I know this year alone, we have, I believe we just got our 6th report this year. That all scans have come back all clear. And we celebrate with those every time. I'll call the whole team when those happen. I'll call the whole team and I'll be like, hey guys, guess what? We just got it all clear.
All clear,
and we all get all excited because this is our passion. This is what we do. I love the interaction that comes with these cancer patients. They are, most of the time when they come to you, they're really scared at first.
They really are.
And you get an opportunity to share a piece of your heart, a piece of your knowledge with them and help calm them down. And, they get a new buddy almost. So yeah. I get messages from the cancer patients on this program around the clock.
It's like a whole new support system.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a whole new support system. And we also try to link some of those cancer patients up together. We're really trying to build a buddy system. So here soon we will be launching that through FECO Playbook.
Yes.
Super.
I don't think there's a name for it.
Yes, super excited about that.
You can find a buddy though.
Yeah, find a buddy. Man, so with one of the benefits of this, okay, so we have our participating dispensaries, and we are going to be adding to those participating dispensaries in this upcoming year. We're pretty excited about that. But one of the benefits is that we just keep that dispensary stocked. And so we have an idea about, how many, we have a really good idea of how many cancer patients are at each dispensary and about the need that we're going to have. So, if for whatever reason the dispensary is going to be not stocked on the day that they're coming, we also do notify them and let them know that, hey, we've ran out of stock. It's going to be tomorrow before it's delivered, before transport comes, so that the cancer patient doesn't go out of their way and show up to a dispensary and the product is gone.
Yeah.
And then we'll send them a message whenever it comes in and let them know, hey, you can pick up.
Yeah. Communication is really easy throughout the whole process. You can pretty much ask any question to the dispensary or to anybody through FECO Playbook, and they'll respond within a very timely manner. And if they don't know the answer, they'll find it for you.
Yeah. That team over there at FECO Playbook, guys, they're pretty incredible. We are fortunate to have merged this Operation 2.0 with their team. So we have, quite a few advisors and some help, which has been awesome. This program is near and dear to my heart. It is the most rewarding and most challenging thing I've ever done, all wrapped in one. But there's nothing quite like hearing the success stories.
Yeah.
And the success stories of especially those who couldn't afford their treatment. They didn't think they were going to make it and they couldn't afford it. And we were able to come in and say, here it is, really cheap, keep fighting.
Let's go.
I think one of our biggest things that we push is that you're not alone.
Yeah.
There are people that care about you. Just because you may not know me doesn't mean that I don't love you. And that's just the way it is. Terry, I have previously in this have discussed how you guys don't get enough credit for what you guys do. I always try, but you guys truly don't get enough credit for what all you guys do. All the current syringes that have gone out from the program have came from your facility as a starting spot. So I can't thank you enough personally for what those products have done for the warriors that we have been working with. I'm going to get teary-eyed on that. So thank you, because what you're doing, I know you're in there working like crazy. You don't get to get out very often. And I just want you to know that you're seen, even though you're back there. Like, your products speak volumes.
Thank you, Jamie and Mary. I'm actually the true definition of an introvert, and I pretty much stay in my cave all the time. And to get me to talk about this is an honor and a privilege, but it's very difficult for me because of what I just said.
Yeah.
So I kind of stay in the closet all the time, and I create all these things.
Welcome to Hope Fest 2023. What an amazing day today has been. There's been so much information. I just want to give a few shout outs real quick before we get started. So first of all, I want to shout out Jamie Bennett. You kicked ass today from bright early in the morning, all damn day. And I'm telling you what an inspiration everybody has been. Shout out Jeremy Deadman. Shout out Larry Reed, the man on weed. So glad to see you, man. You're killing it. My name is Taylor Morris. I go by Epidemic Outrage. I'm an artist out here. I'm as well. I'm also a combat veteran, a father, and a husband. I've suffered with PTSD and a lot of issues from my 4 years in the military. Not to say, I mean, it's anything comparable to cancer. I mean, you guys were an absolute inspiration today, and it really gives me hope and a lot of hope that we can really make a difference out here. And man, I'm going to tell you something. When when Jamie started Operation Zero, you know, they told me, hey, I need you to blast this and make this medicine. I didn't quite understand what it was at all. And to be honest, he just kind of gave me the gist of everything, you know, because we were still very new into it and everything. So learning about it, and then we made the medicine. We learned how to make it, which was an awesome experience, working with all that new equipment and all this donated product. And it wasn't until like we really started getting responses back on the medicine that I was like, wow, this is real shit. Like, this is really medicine. And then start hearing all these crazy stories. And it was such a beautiful thing, man. A bittersweet thing seeing it go away, but seeing Jim come in the picture and lift this thing up and bring it into something that, you know, I mean, is absolutely mind blowing. Like, I can't believe we've come so far. And I just want to tell all of you that I'm super proud of you all. And thank you so much. It is a privilege to be here. So, yeah, I'm not going to take it, but shout out everybody. Big shout out to FECO Playbook. This is such an awesome program, man. It was so much fun making this medicine, and I look forward to making so much more. Like, this is such a passion for me. I've done so many jobs, been all around the entire world. I've done everything, and I can't find anything that I'm more passionate about besides being a father than this medicine right here. So I do want to give a big, huge ass thank you to Jeremy Denman for that one.
No, you sounded great. I do without you, and you matter very much. And I love to support all the different avenues that you do that.
Thank
whether
you.
it be your music or your kids' book.
Yes.
What?
Thank you. Yeah, that was rough. I'm gonna do. I've already got so many, and I can't wait for everybody to see them. And they're gonna be so much better, and I love it. I just need illustrations and stuff. Yes, I plan on doing a whole bunch, even big books for adults and shit too. So
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Your passion is awesome, and I just, for everybody who's like who's watching, you know, Taylor allowed me to be in his lab, and part of that you know, with the distance that we have between us, is a lot of collab. It's a lot of me calling Taylor and saying, "Hey, we've got 100 syringes that need to go out. Can you pull them?" And this man right here, guys, has not asked me for anything to do this because this is his heart and passion too. He's a part of this, and it means so much. Like, to watch you get excited that it's still going and that you're still a part of it is awesome. And we appreciate you very much.
Dude, for sure. And I mean, quit under talking. I don't do crap. Like, she's the one who comes out here and does all that, gramming up them syringes. And I have not helped her since she's been out here, and I feel terrible because I'm always so damn busy. But yeah, no, dude, if I could do so much more, I would. And I hope that I can here, you know, in the near future. We are so small, you know, I'm doing my absolute best. But dude, this program means the freaking world. And I'm so proud of everybody that's built this foundation, because I mean, against all odds, have masterly kicked ass. And I mean, and we have barely touched the surface. And I think we all understand that. There's so much more to learn. And I'm sure right now, all them smarties are just over there thinking and getting shit done. And it's just amazing to watch, because it really
I feel
is
like
about
the more we get vocal about it, the more we're going to have people show up to the table too. And the opportunities that present, especially with us taking this across state lines here soon.
Yes.
Yeah, that's going to be, can you imagine that? That's like starting back in the day that we were going to be able to reach across state lines with this. Like,
never would have guessed.
Blows my mind that this is happening, and I'm so excited, and I'm so proud to have you on the team. Like, it means so much to me.
It's amazing to see the structure difference from then to now, and just how mature the program has become, and the way that I think the medicine this time is going to go to the right people, and has been now going to the right people. And that is something spectacular to watch, because, you know, there was times where we were doubting those things, and things got really tough. But man, to see Jim come out and just revive such an incredible idea and foundation is just spectacular. And of course, I mean, you'd be crazy not to want to be part of something like this. Like, it's amazing. A chance to change people's lives, or to save people's lives. That's craziness.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
And we're having a blast at it. Like, this is fun, guys. This is not, I mean, yeah, it's a lot of work, but it's fun. Like, the energy that the vibes that we catch off of each other, the support that we have as a team that is constantly growing. We are constantly adding people to this team. And the support that we have for each other is unique. And it's kind of like the random gem, the rare gem.
Yes.
But thank you so much.
Hell
I appreciate you greatly.
Yes, anytime. Thanks for having me today, Jamie. I appreciate it. Y'all kick. I mean, I couldn't even.
It's very simple. I have a link that Jamie sends me, or that I have saved, and I just go to the link. I look up their name, their date, and it immediately shows me how many syringes that they're allotted. Also, I think that's dependent on, you know, what they fill out. And then I just have them, I get their card, check them on their card, and then go right back and take 7 or 5 grams, you know, strains, depending on, or syringes, how many they've got allotted, and then check in and check out, and they're $1 each. And it's, one patient immediately came to mind when we got her on the program, which was awesome, because she had been spending anywhere from $10 to $20 a gram. And then she came in, had her sign up, and she was already on the program the next day, and showed up the next day and got her new FECO. I mean, it was amazing. And she has been singing the praises of everybody on this team for, you know, it gives them relief. And it's silly easy. I mean, it just really is. It's just, and I also love that I can give people, as soon as I notice them, or if they have that diagnosis, I can immediately say, hey, let's get you on this program, and you don't have to worry.
I want to jump in here. Hi, honey. I want to thank you on behalf of the warriors that we sponsor right now, because the feedback I get from them coming to your dispensary to pick up is incredible. The way that you guys take your time and truly help them manage more than just the FECO and the other, whether it be a supplement that they need, or they need extra CBD, CBG, CBN, whatever it is that they're fighting. The extra time that you guys take is moving mountains and lives.
You're gonna make me cry. You're gonna make
It
me
is.
cry.
It is. These people are desperately searching, and to the comfort on my side of this too. I don't have to worry. I don't have to worry about what your bartenders are gonna say, or somebody's gonna give false information with you guys, and that is incredibly freeing. Like, when you're running a program like this, you have to trust your team.
Yeah.
And I will openly admit it, we that our dispensaries, we're very picky. I'm very picky about where these end up going, because I don't want false information going out. I don't want them going to somebody that they weren't intended for. I know that may sound awful, but it's incredibly easy to sign up for this program. And there are no limit. If you're a cancer patient, you're approved. As long as you'll fill out some information for us, you're approved. We are going to introduce Regina. Regina is another story that we have been following very closely, and I am very excited to hear from her. Give me just a second, and I will bring her on. Justin, you can stay on an interview with me.
Sounds good.
Hello, Regina.
Hello.
How are you today?
I'm doing fair.
Good. So I did like a small introduction and said that, I just said your name and said that we have been following your cancer journey for quite a while now. I kind of wanted to let you.
Well, I have just went back to college days and kind of wrote a small speech. So you can stop me and ask questions or whatever you want. Because I'm not really sure. This is my first time doing anything like this. So I apologize if I start to cry.
No, we applaud the bravery, girl. We applaud it.
Okay. Well, first of all, for cuteness here, I have to introduce my head nurse of staff. This is Jax. He's my 10-year-old heartbeat. So, my name's Regina, and I'm 39. And I'm a child of God, a dog mom, a daughter, a granddaughter, a friend, a former hair fairy. I did hair for 15 years. Excuse me. Sister from another missus. A caregiver, an aunt to a few. I was diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer in October of 2021. So I am a talking miracle. Literally. My doctors have told me in the last month that I am a walking, talking miracle that they don't see. So I'll rewind to 2018, when I was told I had fibromyalgia and that I was just severely depressed and that I needed to go on to Cymbalta and try that. And I thought, finally, I have something, but I wasn't really convinced. And I just kept pushing through, and I declined the Cymbalta at the time. And I just kept going to the doctor regularly. And then the pain, the chronic pain, the migraines, the PCOS, the diabetes, the high blood pressure, I just couldn't cope anymore. In 2020, I threw my hands up and I started the Cymbalta. God, my body hated it. It almost killed me. I truly believe that Cymbalta should be illegal. I know that there are some people that take it and it helps them, and I'm grateful for that for them, but I know a lot of people that have had the same experience or worse than mine. So I got back off of it and I just pushed through with CBD and supplements. I started taking full spectrum CBD in 2018 regularly for chronic pain. Fast forward to September of 2021, so 2 years ago from now, actually, I was getting ready to start a third job, sales position, and I was going to be working at the state fair at a sales booth, along with running my business in the salon and door dashing in my spare time. And that's only relevant because I wasn't just laying there dying. I was pushing through. I was hustling. I was doing what I had to do. And I worked those 11 days. And about 2 days later, I got sick. I started to have blood in my stool. And my doctor said, I think you have appendicitis or diverticulitis. And I'm like, I don't know, but I think I have a kidney stone. So he ordered a CT scan, and that was the day that I found out I had 4 tumors. From that point, things went extremely fast, and I had 2 biopsies. The second one showed stage 4 adenocarcinoma, primary of the pancreas, and the first oncologist that I had seen was on the phone with me saying, we're ready to do surgery. And I was in getting a second opinion. Praise God, I did. Please always, always, always get a third opinion if you have to, until you feel comfortable with your care. Because if I would have let the doctor operate on me, I wouldn't be here telling you guys my story today. Because I have splenic vessel involvement in my pancreatic tumor. They most likely wouldn't have been able to resect it completely, and I would have bled out. So I'm very strong in my faith, and I believe that, God is the one that led me to where I am right now, and I'll get there. So I got my port on November the 5th, and then on November the 9th, I started FOLFIRINOX chemotherapy with a 5-FU pump. And that 5-FU, they mean it. FU 5 times, really times 5. You leave it on for 2 days. You come home with it. You disconnect it yourself. And then you take it back with you to your next chemo session in a week. And they take it and swap it out, and you come home with a new one. And so I did 12 rounds of FOLFIRINOX.
What kind of symptoms did you experience with that?
Oh, I had a horrible reaction on my first treatment. I was in the ER that night. And that is one thing that I'll say is frustrating about the chemo center is they will screw you up, and they will, if you can walk out of there, they'll tell you bye, when they should be calling you an ambulance. And I, just itching, hard to breathe. And at that moment, it can happen at any second. You can just go in, not be able to breathe at all, and nobody can do anything about it. And they have literally sent me home. And then 45 minutes after I got home, they said, okay, well, you need to go to the ER. So we went to the ER, and it was in the middle of COVID. And I don't know anything really other than I was a caregiver for my mom about being a cancer patient when it's not a pandemic. But let me tell you, it changes the ball game. Having this reaction to chemo, and I'm told by a triage person who's actually like a rented security guard. You stand in this circle, you stand in this circle, you go wait in your car. Me go wait in my car. I just handed you a card from my doctor that says I'm a current chemo patient that just had chemo today and I'm having a reaction. You want me to go wait in my car? Okay. So we left and went to a different ER. I wasn't gonna go wait in my car to die.
Yeah,
You definitely have to
that's
be an
insane.
advocate for yourself. I've been in the ER more in the last 2 years than I have in my entire life. After that, I started a phase 2 trial for a while. I didn't tolerate the PARP inhibitor that I took at home, which was considered to be a chemotherapy pill that I took daily. And then every 21 days I had Keytruda. I'd have reactions after the Keytruda every time, end up in the ER anywhere from 24 to 48 hours later. So they stopped that. And in April of 2022, I was praying really hard. I had a lot of people coming to me saying, have you heard of this dog dewormer? Have you heard of Joe Tippins? Have you heard of, this regimen? And, I have friends sending me links and I'm doing research and I dive into it and I prayed really hard and I got 3 different signs within 2 days. And I took that as my confirmation from the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit that he was leading me to start fenbendazole. So in April of 2022, I started fenbendazole. I started reishi mushrooms, cordyceps mushrooms, agarose blasi mushrooms, psilocybin mushrooms for depression instead of Lexapro, because I didn't want to be on one more pill. And if I was, by God, I wanted it to be natural. So I microdosed with psilocybin even. I took tucca for my liver to protect it. I never once had bad numbers. Twice in my entire 2 years have I had to stop treatment because of my numbers. But I took tucca for my liver protection. I took Pectisol and serapeptase for detox to get the dead out quicker, to help water flush things out. Again, I upped the CBD to no less than 100 milligrams a day. I was taking FECO, but I couldn't afford it. And man, God always provides. He'll never leave us or forsake us. And he guided me to you, Jamie, through Zora Braun. And you introduced me to Allie and Jerry at Silverleaf. And they are a huge blessing. Jerry can be busy and he will sit down with me and he will brainstorm. And Allie too. They used to be in healthcare. They used to help people at the end of life. They're such a valuable asset to have in your corner. And you got me on the program. You worked really hard to get me on the program. And unfortunately, through my research, and if I'm wrong, I'd like for somebody to reach out to me. I have 2 genetic mutations. I have the BRCA2 gene mutation and the KRAS G12C mutation. And so high THC is not necessarily the best thing for me, so I dose a little differently. I take 6 to 8 grains of rice a day to help with the pain and the nausea. I mix the RSO in some olive oil and I put it directly into my belly button to help with internal pain. I am interested in trying to do the suppositories as well. So that's why I was asking about that. In addition to the FECO, I take the CBD. And, some days I take so much CBD, somebody else would be in a coma, but I just feel great. And so, you know, for me, it's all about the supplements. And right now I'm on a phase 1 trial where they've learned to target those 2 gene mutations. And my blood pressure is gone up. They've had to double my medication twice in the last couple of weeks to get my blood pressure down so that I can take the steady pill and then immunotherapy every 21 days. And I may have to come off of that. I don't know. Right now I'm kind of in this like lull, but I'm just trying to, you know, stay on my FECO, stay on my CBD. I had to quit taking my mushroom supplements. I had to quit taking the dewormer. I had to quit taking quite a bit of the things that I attributed a lot of shrinkage to for a lot of time. When I started to have growth, that's when they suggested that I go on this phase 1 trial. And my doctor explained it to me like, well, you know, you're always on the train. You can get on and off the train whenever you want, but you only go through certain stations. And this trial is a station. And I prayed about it. And my tumor marker is a CA 19-9 for pancreatic cancer. And my entire treatment since October of 21, it's just been over 10,000 unreadable until I started this trial. And in June, it came down to 8,130. In July, it came down to 3,898. Now, granted, it's supposed to be under 25, and it's still extremely high. But this has been explained to me that is the representation of the tumor the burden on your body. It got down to 2,907. And then I started having issues with blood vessels and blood pressure, and I haven't been able to dose at home, and my numbers are starting to go back up already. And that is scary. And I'm almost 2 years later from diagnosis, and they diagnosed me at stage 4. And I just, like I said, I'm really strong in my faith, and I pray every day, and I thank God for allowing me to be here another day. I try to make the best of every day.
2 years after a stage 4 diagnosis, that's gotta be fill you with some kind of hope that you're. I mean, I know getting like stage 4 is like sitting in that for 2 years. It's got to be really hard too, but knowing that you're beating odds, it's got to feel hopeful.
It does. And there's a breakthrough coming, and I know that there is, because God has had me for 2 years. He could have taken me the next week.
Yeah.
But he did. I'm still here, and I'm still able to do things. And, I don't drive because I'm on too much medication, and I don't find it responsible to get behind the wheel of a car. If I have to, I can. But I prefer not to. But I can mow my own lawn. I can drive a T-post. Everybody's like, what are you doing? Proving that I can.
Yeah. That's
proving
important. It's important not to just let it.
So I really thank you for bringing me on today, Jamie. And I want to thank Operation 2.0 for making FECO affordable for me and for other cancer patients. I have told as many, and I mean, I tell people all the time, even at the cancer center, I'm typically the light flying through the cancer center. Even on my dark days, I still try to make people laugh and smile and have hope as well, because I
Yeah.
have hope. And I hope that what I said today, any of it, helped one person.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I bet it will. I bet it will. We have more of a reach than just what's in here. So this is also going to be on Facebook. So there you may help way more people than you were expecting by just speaking up and sharing your story. And that's something that we seriously encourage around here. Hearing one cancer survivor story, that especially if it matches your cancer, makes a world of difference in your recovery. So
Well,
I
I'm definitely hope for somebody that has or has had pancreatic diagnosis. And, diet is huge. Do what you can though. Don't beat yourself down about it.
Yeah.
You know, make small changes as you can. Don't go, oh my God, I have to do everything today, because then you go into sheer panic freak out mode of, I can't do this, I can't do that. Well, what can I do?
Yeah.
Because at first it feels hopeless. And there are days that it feels hopeless. And it's okay to take a day in bed if you need it. Take 2 if you need it. Rest. But don't unpack and live there. That's
Yeah.
one of my philosophies, and it has been before cancer. And I have tried to hang on to that one and remember it. Because I have my days where it's hard and I hurt, the neuropathy in my legs. I was going to say, I actually was talking to Allie earlier, and she told me to mix some of the RSO with the lotion, my CBD lotion, and to put that on my legs and see if it helps. So I'm excited to try that later.
Yeah, I'm glad that you brought up Silverleaf. Those guys over there, man, the Operation Zero team seriously vets our dispensaries. We don't just have every dispensary doing this. They have
Yeah.
to care about patients. They have to have some kind of knowledge. We are sending cancer patients who are hungry for information, and we don't want them to get false information. And those guys over there are just so incredibly patient. Every cancer patient I send there comes back with so much feedback. They're like, I spent an hour with them today. I spent 2 hours with them today. They taught me everything I need to know about FECO and CBD, and to how to start dosing it out. And I am just beyond thankful for that team. And I'm so glad that you got a chance to go there. Especially with them. Like
I won't go anywhere else, really, honestly, unless I absolutely have to.
Not something that you find in every dispensary.
No, and
Okay.
they have great flour. They carry CBD flour. Shut up, good CBD flour. Who does that? No one. Everybody's all about, this is 50% THC and it's infused with Dr. Pepper. Gross. First of all, that sounds disgusting. No, thank you. And, I'm a terp chaser, and so are they. And they've got quality cannabis and they've got quality CBD. And I trust anything that they tell me, because they've told me before, I don't know. Let me look into that and I'll let you know. And that says to me, I'm not going to BS you. That says to me, I can trust them. So
Absolutely.
definitely, if you're in question about, should I start FECO, should I try FECO? Yes, give it a shot. Get with Jamie, and wherever Jamie sends you, I trust Jamie's recommendation, because Silverleaf is, my jam. And I tell all kinds of people to go there. And everybody's like, it was in the weirdest place. It was kind of hard to find. I'm like, yeah, you don't pull up and think you're walking, into a dispensary, it looks like you're walking into a medical complex, and they are a actual medical dispensary. So they belong there.
Yeah, and you know how to actually take advantage of their offerings. Like you said, people often just chase the highest THC levels, but the terpenes are so critical to the medical effects, and you've taken it upon yourself to find the terpene profiles and products that are working well for you. And that's what you need to be successful, is to keep track of what's working, roll out what's not, and then just try to keep improving your protocol through your observation.
Thank you. Yeah, I agree with you 100%. Just journaling, just keeping a little journal. And, that was something else. Operation 2.0 gave us little journals that make it so easy for you to keep track of your water, keep track of your food, keep track of what you're doing. And it's nice to have that space to just jot it down. And if there's a strain or a product, something new, jot it down. Jot down when you take it. Jot down how you feel in an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, and it helps me find what works and actually has longevity and isn't just like a 30-minute fix,
Yeah, and then you can actually look back through your journal and see and start, as you do it over time, you get to see how things are affecting you over the long term. And, it's easy to forget exactly what strain you might have used 2 weeks ago, but when you have it written down, to be able to go over that is so empowering. And yeah, more patients should do that, frankly.
Yeah, they really should. When it comes to cancer, though, you start medicating for a different reason, and my reason is to not leave my loved ones here. And to be here in 20 years and be able to share my story and just be a testimony to cannabis and to natural medicine. You're muted.
Sorry, I just noticed that. So you said that you were going to be trying infusing the FECO into the CBD oil for the neuropathy, but you hadn't tried that yet, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, because there's a lot of evidence that the high doses of THC and CBD can do really well for neuropathy, including topically. So I wanted to, when you said that, I'm like, oh yeah, we would love to hear how that works for you, because there's a really good chance that it could really significantly reduce the pain. And for others who are dealing with neuropathy and those external kinds of pain, you can use very high doses of THC topically, and it's not going to get you high. So for people who are having issues with that, you can still use those high doses that might have that external pain killing effect without getting into the bloodstream and causing the psychoactivity. So yeah, we would definitely love to hear how that goes for you.
Most definitely. And then here recently, I got a Dauntless Health tincture from Silverleaf that is 5,000 THC and 5,000 CBD 1-to-1.
Wow, that's a big concentration.
That is this, just so that you're aware.
Helped me so much. Like I told Allison earlier how well it actually is working and helpful. And she was telling me that was one of y'all's products. So
yeah, I partner with Dauntless to do the Operation Zero program. I am incredibly proud of their product line. They have a double testing standard to make sure that they've got the same quality control through.
So how much of a dropper do you recommend taking for like neuropathy?
That is not my area of expertise on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
No worries.
I can get you with somebody who can answer that question. I do know all of them, but I don't want to just.
Yeah, I would love to know. I've just been taking a quarter of a dropper because I don't want to get too like. Woo.
Yeah. Yep.
That sounds about right. I mean, something that concentrated, it sounds like it might be like over 100 milligrams per milliliter total.
Yeah, I dosed it out to be 166 a dropper. So
Oh, okay. Or oh, okay. So 166 milligrams total per milliliter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I'm taking a
that's
quarter.
yeah, so that's still a pretty high dose. Yeah, if someone who is naive to cannabis did that, starting with one single drop, not drop her full, a single drop would be good for someone who wasn't experienced.
Right.
And so you're finding that having because you've had the CBD alone and the THC alone, but you found that having the blend when they're together is really helpful for you.
Yeah, the synergistic effect of the CBD with the THC is just incredible. And honestly, when I started dosing my FECO, that's how I would dose my FECO is I would take, a grain or 2 grains and I would put it in a capsule with the CBD oil and take the capsule internally. So I would take a 50 milligram or a 25 milligram capsule wherever I was at in my CBD regimen at that time. And I'd pull it open and put a grain or 2 grains of rice in there and then put the cap back on and take it. And that's how I dosed my FECO, because a lot of people, complain about the taste or, oh, it's too strong or it doesn't go away quickly is what a lot of people will complain about. But I mean, for me, I don't care. I'm fighting cancer. So I've tasted a lot of worse stuff at the hospital. So I'm great with it. It doesn't bother me, but it is a way to take it. And I think that the CBD does help boost the effects of the FECO. And I know that the FECO that Operation 2.0 makes is, I mean, it's got all the terpenes intact in it. And that's what I love about that FECO. And I tell people this FECO is made for cancer patients. It's not just the whatever FECO, Joe Mama's FECO that you find out there. It is actually made for cancer patients. They keep the terpenes intact because those terpenes are so important. And I think the CBD and the CBG and the CBN and the CBA are all important components in fighting cancer as well.
Yeah, they absolutely are. And yeah, when I first heard about the $1 program, part of me was like, I'm sure that it's pretty decent, but I didn't expect it to be, super stellar at that price. But then I saw the lab results and it was truly some of the best FECO I've ever seen in my life, with both the variety of terpenes and the surprisingly high concentrations. So it's amazing what they're able to put out at such an affordable price. It just would be amazing if it was like that everywhere, but
I wish that it was. And my doctor, when I told my doctor about it, my palliative care pain doctor, she was like, okay, well, you need to be careful because, I don't want him to like bait and switch on you. And I've had patients that's happened to before where they end up selling their pain medication that I'm giving them in order to get their FECO because it's gone from $1 to $70 and they can't afford it and they can't afford their light bill and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, first of all, that's not, I've been doing it for 2 years and that's not what they're here for. They're here to try and help get this proven that it is a cancer treatment, and a viable cancer treatment and one that gives people quality of life. And that's chemo doesn't give you quality of life. I'm firsthand to tell you, Miss Reaction over here with everything they try. I mean, they almost seemed annoyed with me at sometimes because I was having a reaction to every, okay, well, let's try this. Well, let's add that and see if, okay, we'll slow it down. We'll water it down, and every time I'd have a reaction and they're like, well, it's poison. My body doesn't like it. So, she was like, well, I'd rather you eat it than smoke it.
I keep trying to talk while I'm on mute. Oops. I've wanted to cut in like 3 or 4 times now, and I start talking and realize I'm on mute, and the moment's passed.
So,
Um,
that's something I assured her, and I was like, yeah, no, this program is not. I'm sorry that that has happened to past patients, but that's not this program that I've found. So,
thank you. We this is such a passion for us.
and I love you guys for it.
Like our entire team. Um, thank you. Thank you.
You guys
Justin,
are.
do you have any?
Any,
Does
what
anybody
was
have
that?
any questions or anything for me?
I don't think specifically. I mean, yeah, right now you're still in the thick of it, but clearly still fighting so hard. And and so as of the most recently, the CA 19.9 is going down. So it's great that it's going in the right direction, even if it might still be much higher than normal. The fact that it just, it's gone down like 20% in the past couple months, it seemed like. So you're on the right track, and already blown through expectations. As you said, your doctors consider you a miracle, so you're already doing so well. You're going in the right direction, and there's realistic hope that you'll continue in that. And it's great that you're part of the Operation Zero program, so that means that they'll be there to help you. So
Yeah.
you have a lot of support.
The only other thing that I have to say to any cancer patient out there is when I got diagnosed, I named my tumor. And I named it Hagatha because she's a hag. And I did that just to keep the humor in it because that is my largest tumor and it's in my pelvis. And it currently, the last I'm looking at my CT, shrunk from 13 centimeters to 12.5. Centimeters, so it's my greatest in size and causes me the most pain. So I complain about it, and instead of having to say, "Oh, my tumor hurts," I'm like Hagatha's being a bee.
I love
Name your tumor. Have some, so you can have some humor in your tumor. And just remember to smile through all the BS. Because we're all just here for a little while. We're all in line. We just don't know where. And live your best every day. And thank you so much to the people like you guys who are out there for us cancer patients, fighting right alongside us, helping us through this journey. We wouldn't be able to make it as comfortably without you.
Well, I just want to say thank you so much for stepping out of your comfort zone and sharing your story, especially since I know this is the first time you've done that. So it takes an extreme amount of courage
Well,
to be
thank you
vulnerable.
guys for hanging out with me, and I'm sorry about the crying there for a moment, but we got through that. And I appreciate you letting me tell my story for the first time here on Hope Fest.
Yes, thank you so much for coming. We appreciate you. We are so excited to sit down and do this session with our cancer journey stories. We have had the honor of being a part of several people's journeys. This is Krista. Krista is one of the cancer warriors who was on the Operation Zero program, and I wanted to bring her on and give her an opportunity to tell us about her diagnosis, the symptoms that she may have experienced, how she found us, and how it helped.
Okay, yeah. So last year around May, I was noticing when I was working, I would have to reach and get something off my printer. I would feel this pulling sensation in my arm. And then I would sit back down and I would try to find it, and I couldn't find anything, but I knew something was wrong. So I went ahead and scheduled an appointment for my gynecologist, and she couldn't find anything. She didn't seem too concerned, but she knew I was. So she went ahead and ordered a mammogram, and it came back suspicious, but it had done that a couple of times prior. They said I had dense tissue. So anyway, they went ahead and scheduled the ultrasound and biopsy, and basically they said I had stage 2 invasive ductal carcinoma. And it was just they thought possibly, it was just in my right breast, and they thought possibly in a lymph node. So they, did that biopsy. Yes, it was. But they thought, they told me it was the best kind of cancer to have, which I really don't think there's any good kind of cancer to have, but they said it was the best kind to have. So basically, I don't know. It was like I was driving 100 miles an hour and just like ran into a brick wall,
Yeah.
And you're just like, whoa. So I've always been like really hesitant or kind of, I don't know, not really trusting of the government.
Yeah.
So I knew I was going to be searching for alternative therapies and treatments. I didn't know what this would entail. I just knew that, I'd seen a lot of people that are close to me. My dad died of cancer, and I knew I really did not, even without any research, knew I did not want to do chemo. I wasn't certain about the radiation, but I knew I did not want to do chemo. Fast forward to, I think it was June, I had a double mastectomy. And then I think it was within like 2 weeks of that, that they did a bone scan because my back was hurting. And so I guess breast cancer likes to metastasize to the back. So they did a bone scan, which came back normal. So I was like relieved. But then, like, I think the very next week I had a PET scan, and the PET scan, it showed that it had metastasized everywhere, basically. They were like, it's in your lungs, it's in your liver. And, my oncologist was like just listing like the T5, the L5, like every single vertebrae. I like couldn't even write it down fast enough. It was like basically everywhere in my body, all down my legs. And so then they were like, and actually I left out a little bit. So I said I didn't want to do chemo, but basically I kind of got talked into chemo. So I was set to start chemo on a Monday morning. This was like at the beginning of July. Just because my family, everybody thought that was the best route. And I was just kind of starting my research. So I really look at this stage 4 diagnosis as like, I think it was a good thing for me. It stopped me. I really do. Yeah. Because I knew I didn't want to do that, and I was going to do it anyway. But that stopped it. My oncologist was like, well, now we've got to change treatment plans. We can't do that chemo anymore. So then I just had to figure out what was I going to do. Yeah. And I didn't know. I had never had any experience with cannabis, not recreationally, anything. So the first thing that I did, one of my friends, Amy, she had posted on one of her groups, one of her like Plano friends groups or something, and asked if there was any alternative treatments, because I was asking her about that. And so someone had put in there about Chris Beat Cancer, who is a guy that he's big on changing your diet. So that was kind of the first thing that I did. I'm just kind of telling you how I got to the cannabis.
What kind of dietary changes did you make?
So it's basically raw vegan, plant-based, eat a lot, you juice a lot, you have a lot of fruits and vegetables, salads, smoothie. Basically that's all for 90 days. I did that, and then I started adding vegan foods in.
Let me pause right there. How did that change make you feel?
Well, I don't think it's made me feel night and day different now. Yeah. Like I can tell you a year out, I mean, oh my gosh, I have so much energy. I feel amazing. So just changing my diet was a big thing.
I stopped on that because, I am friends with you on Facebook too.
Mm-hmm.
So I see a lot of your posts on how changing your diet has like seriously helped you.
No, it really.
So I wanted.
My mom says all the time, you have more energy than you've had in 15 years. Like, I really do. I mean, I feel great because I'm healthy. I'm eating healthy. And that's your nutrition. It should be about fueling your body and what nutrients it needs, not about what tastes good. So
Absolutely. And it gives, when you get all that junk out and you're already fighting it, like you need that energy so much. So when you're adding in all those, beneficial vitamins and stuff, your body is craving them, and it does fuel you. So you've got the energy to keep going and keep fighting.
Yeah. So that was the first change that I made was my diet. You know, now I've had health issues for a while. I didn't know I had cancer, obviously, but I've been struggling with my weight for at least 10 years, and my thyroid was off, and I mean, just all kinds of problems, you know. So it's not surprising. It's not surprising now that I think about it, looking back. But anyway, so back to my cancer. So we, when the oncologist changed the treatment plan, she wanted me to now do the first chemo we were going to do was too intensive, too hardcore for how my body was now. And so she wanted me to do oral chemo. And I did agree to it but I only did it for like 10 days. I took it and I just was feeling bad taking it, for one. And also I was reading and doing a ton of research through this every day, all day. That's what I was doing. And I just knew I didn't want to do that. I mean, I did not want to be putting poison in my body. And I understand it's like a tough decision for everyone. And I understand why people pick it, but for me, it made the most sense that I wanted to like have a nutrient overload into my system to try to help my body heal, as opposed to killing all the cancer and hoping it doesn't kill me in the process.
Yeah.
So
it is critical to be your own advocate for what you want. I encourage people all the time, don't do a treatment option because your family or friends are asking you to. You do your own research. You figure out what's going to be best for your body. At the end of the day, you're going to be the one that lives with the decision.
That's right.
So that's what I always encourage. So you decided not to do.
So I decided not to do that. My doctor was not happy about that. And so I found the crispy cancer. That led me to, and you know, my friend's post, she said, has she ever heard of this crispy cancer? And also there's always hope. And that's the Jane McClelland, How to Starve Cancer. So those were two big things at the beginning that I dove right into that. And in those two groups is where I came about somebody that had used cannabis to help. And so I listened to Cannabis Health Radio, and it was just a podcast. They play like weekly stories of people that they're curing all kinds of diseases with cannabis, not just cancer. So I was like, even though I didn't have any experience using it recreationally, I was on board. I like knew it worked from the very beginning. I never doubted. I did not doubt it at all. I was like, we just got to figure out how to get it. So I listened to that podcast. I was messaging with Corey Yelland, and she got back with me and got me started going and helped explain what to do, how to make the oil, you know, how to get it.
That is.
I know.
Something else.
She is awesome. She is amazing. She has so much knowledge.
That's what I'm saying. She's like, what an experience that was to learn from her.
Yeah. And so she was, you know, she got me going with that. This was before I ran into you. And basically she had told me I needed to take at least 1 gram a day, that all of her patients that were seeing results and their tumors were going away and dying with this cannabis was taking 1 gram of this highly concentrated oil. And so that's what I did. I started right out with that. I mean, sometimes people, they'll say like work up to it or they're scared. I didn't. From day one, I just did the 1 gram. And actually I even went over that on some days because, like, you know, you can take it orally, or you can take it in a suppository. Well, if you take it as a suppository, you don't get high.
Yep.
And so you can still work, you can still do everything. If you're taking, you know, 1 gram a day of this highly concentrated oil, you could just be passed out, sleeping all day. So
you feel that 1 gram a day.
Yeah. I did take, when I made it on my own, I tried it orally. They say start with the size of like a half of a piece of rice.
Yeah.
That's how strong it is. And it really is strong. I mean, it
is.
It's crazy.
It's intense. It's intense. That's so we always tell people to start small and work your way up.
Yeah,
for sure.
But I wouldn't be scared to do it. I mean, to do the suppositories, I know it's really weird. I mean, it's not something you're used to. I mean, also I was doing coffee enemas. That's a big part of my healing, I believe. And that was really strange also. You know, it's like you're uncomfortable. You've never done anything like this. It's weird, but you know what? If you want to live, you just do what you got to do. Be healthy.
Absolutely.
So I started taking the cannabis. I changed my diet, and instantly my numbers started going down. So my cancer antigen is something, the breast cancer antigen is like CA 15.3, and my doctor checks that every month, and it started going down. So that was really good. I just always felt better since then. So I've had 2 PET scans. I don't like to do a lot of the diagnostic testing because I really believe that all of the radiation is going to, you know, not be helpful to your healing and possibly lead to more cancer later on. So I really try to limit them, but I've had 2 since then. And my last one I just had recently, when did I have that? Like, just like, just like a few weeks ago. And basically, I mean, there's like one spot left that's like, excuse me, I'm thirsty. Excuse me. Okay, so basically everything is gone. Like everything in my chest area, my lungs, it's all gone. And the ones that were in my bones are either gone or inactive, I guess. I'm not exactly sure how. 2 different people explained it to me 2 different ways, but I guess the uptake in your bone or whatever, it can be, there's a range, I don't know. So basically the only thing that hadn't changed or isn't gone was, you know, on my lower back.
Yeah.
So there's one area, but
Yeah,
it's amazing.
It is amazing. What was it like to hear that news after all that battle?
I mean, it's awesome but I knew it too. I knew it, and I you know, and my faith is very strong, so I've been praying about it, and so that's what I do is every day I just ask God to guide me and lead me in whatever direction I need to go, and that's kind of, I've just had faith in him. He's given me this peace that really I've never had in my life. I mean, I haven't really been scared on this journey, so it's been good. Yeah. And I'm pretty much a scaredy cat. So,
so it's like opposite.
Right. But I just felt like God's got this, and I just feel like there's so much stuff that I didn't know.
Yeah.
And it's just, you know, I just dove right into the research. And
one of our mentors, one of the people that we like built this program with, actually 2 of them, they're both cancer survivors, and they say things that kind of like catch you off guard. So both of them have told me cancer has been their biggest blessing.
I believe that too.
Yeah. I'm like, are you serious? And like, it made me change my ways. It made me acknowledge what I was doing wrong and fixing it. It made me fight for myself.
Yeah.
And then you get to know yourself.
That is so true. Yeah. And one of the first books I got early on is called God's Way to Ultimate Health, I believe. So that was really good too, you know, about eating live food versus dead food.
Yeah.
And, you know, when you cook your food, you're losing a lot of the nutrients and killing, you know, everything good in it for you. So I do eat mostly raw food right now. I mean, I'd say like 90% of my diet is like fruit, salad, and smoothies.
Yeah. Yeah. I would try to keep it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel great. It's strange. I mean, it is strange, but
lifestyle
it's weird because I was thinking back to, like, you know, a year ago, I was having, you know, Cheeto sandwiches at 2 a.m. with Dr. Pepper. And now when we go to a restaurant, it's like I won't even drink their water because I don't know if it's filtered or not.
Yeah.
You know? So I've actually changed my whole lifestyle. You know, I went to more natural. I didn't realize all the chemicals that were in everything, all the pesticides on our food, the glyphosate, I don't know, however you say that.
Yeah.
Do you know? Whatever.
Yeah.
But it's poisoning in us. So I just basically got rid of everything. I started making my own products. So I make, you know, my sunscreen, my face cream, basically everything. I make it myself.
That's amazing.
All my soap, shampoo, conditioner, toothpaste. Anyway, so I'm like all natural. Yeah, I went all in and completely changed my lifestyle. Completely.
Yeah.
what else? I'm trying to think what else. I mean,
What other, I mean, so you've been taking the FECO from the program for several months now.
January, yes.
January,
So
yeah.
that's how I came up. Right. Okay. So I went into Silver Leaf, I believe, and they told me about your program, and which is amazing. I was so thankful because it's so expensive. It is so expensive. And plus, I mean, it's hard to know where to start with all of it. So this has been really a blessing. So thank you, Jamie, for doing this. And it's just been a huge part of my healing. I mean, I just think it's been amazing, obviously. Now, my doctor will not say that. So my doctor either looks at it as this is just like kind of, I take it that she looks at this as just like luck and then it's going to come back. You know, she's still every month she's trying to get me to do chemo, even though every month more and more my cancer is gone, not doing chemo. So it makes no sense, but you know, they just don't give any credit to what you're doing. She's told me at least 3 different times. I asked her if I should change my diet. Does diet matter? No, diet doesn't matter. And it's so frustrating.
I bet that's frustrating.
Because it makes it, and they also told me my 5-year survival rate was like, I think 30%, that I'd be alive in 5 years. And I feel like they take away all your hope. You know, they say there's nothing you can do.
Yeah.
Don't change your diet. Don't do anything. Just take this chemo, take the radiation, and I don't know, die.
Yeah.
But I don't want to do that. So
yeah, I went through a very difficult cancer battle with my best friend, and I was floored that they didn't discuss diet, exercise, anything with her, even just increasing, you know, they're changing her water for one, and then increasing water to flush the toxins in her body. Like none of that was discussed. They just pumped her full of chemo, and
it's crazy.
Is really hard.
I started using filtered water. I didn't have that before in my house. It's a lot. But even I went to my oncologist this last week, and they also recommend hormone blockers for everybody who's had breast cancer for like 5 to 10 years after you've had it. I don't really personally know anybody that's not on them, but I have not been taking them. I started off taking them originally, but I have not taken them, you know, for the last probably three or so months. And, you know, everything's still good. I still feel great. I don't know. I just didn't feel great about it. But she's looking at it now, but since I'm not doing instead of looking at my diet and the cannabis as what's helping me, she's looking at it as the hormone blocker is and it's absolutely not.
You're like, no, that's it's not accurate. You do already?
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow, she's early. Okay. That's all right. We'll give us just a couple more minutes. For another cancer patient out there who maybe has held on to the stigma of cannabis, and they're like, no, even though you've heard that it may help in other sources, but like from one cancer patient to another patient, what would you tell them?
I would definitely say to try it. I mean, I don't understand not trying it, because I mean, the alternative is death. I mean, I would have done it even before I knew of the suppositories. I mean, it's like, would you rather be high or do you want to die? You know?
Yeah.
But once I realized you don't even have to be high, you don't have to be. If you don't like that feeling or that scares you, which it does me, I don't like that feeling. I don't want to be high, so I, do the suppository. And it's like I don't see the hesitation with it. I don't see, there's nothing but good. I mean, I don't have any negative side effects from taking it as a suppository. So I highly recommend it. Highly recommend looking into it. There's Cannabis Health Radio. There's story after story of healing. I mean, it's really amazing. And so I just wish that everyone would try it. Even in the States, I would recommend it. I would do it if I have a state, obviously I live in a state that it's legal, but even if it wasn't, I would be doing it. I would be advocating for my family members to do it, because I know that it works. I mean, I see it. It's worked in my life. I've seen it in tons of other people's lives. So, I mean, I would rather be illegally alive than legally dead.
Yes, absolutely. Our gym, our main sponsor on the program with FECO Playbook, that is his favorite line ever. He says it all the time.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, it's true. So I don't see why anyone is hung up on trying it. It's just so amazing, and I just hope everybody, if you or someone you love is struggling with it, is to just give it a try.
Yeah.
I think you'll see results quick. Like in the first couple of months, tumors will be gone.
Yeah, it's really important to. FECO is something amazing to try. Okay, it can't harm you. So, I mean, you might need to take a nap if you take too much.
But you can take too much suppository and you still don't need to take a nap.
That's true. That's true.
But if you are taking it orally, yes, you will definitely need a nap.
You might need a nap. But it is one of those options that if you're worried about what somebody else is going to say about it, don't tell them.
That's true.
Don't tell them. That's kind of my opinion on it. I think it's absolutely worth trying, but it has to be combined with dietary changes.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. I just feel like you never know how much you're getting of all this other stuff.
Yeah.
You're getting pesticides in all your food, and if you're still eating that, I mean, it's not going to work as well. I mean, you're offsetting. You're at the bottom of the hill trying to climb out, and so you want to take away every little roadblock, right?
Yep. I'm seeing a question here that says, I want to know more about suppositories. Were you making the suppositories?
I did make the suppositories, and then I stopped. I say suppositories is just easy, but basically I was making them. It's very, it's very simple. You just, get a little kit, a little mold basically, and put it in there, and put it in your freezer. It's easy. But when I started talking to Corey, she was like, so when you get this RSO, it comes in a syringe without a needle. And so she's like, it's easier. If you want to skip a step and not make a suppository, you can just use it out of the syringe, which is what I do currently. Yeah. So, you have a carrier oil. So like coconut oil or olive oil or something like that. And then you just can put your syringe in it and put it up there and shoot it up there.
Yes. I mean, it helps.
It's easy. You don't feel it. It's fast, and then you don't even have to worry with making the suppositories. But if you want to make the suppositories, you just buy mold on Amazon, and then you just put the oil in there with your carrier oil and put it in the freezer, and it's very simple.
I hope that helped answer your question, Regina. We are going to bring in Justin here in just a second. Justin's joining the webinar. So Justin, he is getting ready to jump on with us. Justin, we are live. I did not put you in the backstage. Justin and I work together on a couple different projects, and he is our story coordinator. Okay, so he is in all of our stories, getting all the most details. Justin, is there anything, you're on mute, is there anything that you would like to ask before we close this, before we end this with this guest speaker?
Yes. Did you know whether your cancer had been diagnosed as ER positive or PR positive? I'm sorry if I missed that part.
Yes, it was both ER positive,
Okay.
PR positive, HER2 negative.
All right, and your treatment was indeed largely just the THC-rich FECO, not any CBD, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, yeah, that's
I mean,
really
it's got CBD. It's got CBD in the oil though too. It's like a 4-to-1 ratio in the oil. Yeah,
but it's 4-to-1 THC to CBD.
Yes, yes.
Okay,
Absolutely.
That's really interesting because there's a controversial issue in the cannabis to treat cancer movement about THC-rich approaches for treating hormone positive breast cancers, and it's still not clear because there's so many people, clearly you included, who use these THC dominant approaches and are having great results. So that's just one of those areas that we're really trying to learn more about. And that's really
Right.
good to know that the
Yeah.
THC approach for you worked.
Yes, it did. And I know what you're talking about. I did see that. I know I've actually, one of the books that I purchased it, she goes off talking about that. She wouldn't recommend it, but I don't know. I feel like there was, I just saw too many success stories that I wanted to risk it. You know, I, when I talked to Corey too, with all of her, you know, success stories, none of them that were doing it the other way were winning. I mean, those were the patients that were, you know, that passed away and stuff, that because they weren't you know, it was her perspective, and this is with hundreds, thousands of patients, that like they weren't getting enough THC. And so I just went ahead and wanted to try the best. You know, I had it everywhere in my body, so I wanted to give it all I could.
Yeah, that's great. I actually just heard that part, or one of the shows she mentioned that about how the people who are only doing the CBD because they're afraid of the THC, none of them are doing well. So,
Right.
But it seems that it has some level of importance, because even with you, it wasn't all THC, it was that 4-to-1 ratio.
Right.
So yeah, with every case we get closer to the truth about what will work for that particular cancer type.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I want to say thank you so much for coming out and
Thank you.
stepping out of your comfort zone, because I know
Sure.
that this is not an easy thing to do. I have very much enjoyed following your story the whole time, getting to know you a little bit, watching your posts on Facebook and seeing how your progress has been. It's been awesome. I feel honored to be a part of it.
Oh, I'm so thankful for you, Jamie. Thank you for, you know, having this program and having it available for cancer patients. You know, I tell everybody I know about it. It's been a lifesaver for me. So thank you.
Thank you.
We get ready to go through the next phase of our Hope Fest 23 festivities, where it's a worldwide celebration, recognition, put your dukes up, let's fight about it, kind of Cancer Awareness Day, wrapping all the way around the globe. So we're grateful to have the FECO Playbook and Jamie, who has led this all up there, and I'll graciously hand it off to her now as we progress through to the next stage.
Okay, so let me just start by saying this. This story is incredibly personal, and is, yeah, we're gonna cry. It was the match that lit the fire underneath my tail end to get this going to the point it did. When I felt incredibly defeated and didn't know how things were going to happen, I got a phone call from Amber, who you guys don't know we've been friends for over a decade. Her husband and I were friends for almost a decade before that. So, this is family to me. I was in her wedding, did her hair for her wedding.
Yeah. Best woman at the wedding.
Yeah. Yes. So I got a phone call from her, and she said, "Hey, you don't get to quit." I said, "What do you mean?" And she said, "I just got diagnosed, and I need you. Like, you don't get to give up." Okay. So I'm gonna let you know, like, this woman right here has usually been everybody's cheerleader. It's just not. It's usually her. So this one is
This one is quite different to watch you fight, to be honest. It's been different. So I'm gonna let Amber tell us a little bit about your diagnosis and what it was like.
Okay. So August 8th, I went into the ER to what I thought was get antibiotics because that's just my life. We go to the ER for one thing and it turns out to be another. And so I thought I had been in April, I had gotten diagnosed with pneumonia. I went in, thank you. I went in and I had a small, they didn't chest x-ray, I had a small little patch right here, which at the time they were like, whoa, but no one said anything. They diagnosed it as pneumonia with my other symptoms, gave me antibiotics, sent me on my way. So 2 months later, school's getting ready to start. The cough has gotten worse, progressively worse and worse. And so I figured that the pneumonia has come back. And I go into the ER again. This time, after my chest x-ray, there was a whole lot more activity and commotion. Suddenly, I was being rushed into an ambulance and I was being transferred to Hillcrest in Tulsa. And I was being told that there was a mass on my lung, and that's all that they told me. So now it's go time. I mean, I'm texting my husband and I'm like, and I'll meet you at the hospital. And then we get to the hospital and it was just tests, and everyone told me that it was most likely going to be cancer. Then when we confirmed that it was cancer, we did the liver biopsy to just figure out exactly what kind of cancer. And that is when they discovered that it is extensive small cell lung carcinoma, which is very rare for someone my age to have. It is a 70, 80-year-old person's cancer. There are literally not statistics on someone my age. You can look it up and it will tell you that a handful of people might have this, excuse me. But that means we are literally beating the odds. There is no limitations. There's no, and God bless one of my oncology nurses. She walked into my hospital room and she said, look, I'm going to need you to listen to your doctors to a certain point. She's like, I'm going to need you to listen to them about what you need to do to fight this. And then I'm going to need you to stop, because they're going to start throwing years at you and statistics at you, and they just don't apply to you. And that's the fight right there. So they don't apply to me. So yes, the diagnosis is terminal. But I feel like one of the things that makes that terminal is because it is an older person's disease, and those 6 cycles of chemo were no joke. It took an extremely aggressive chemo to fight back, because it is an extremely aggressive cancer. Because from April, when it was just a little patch, to August 8th, April 11th to August 8th, and it was taking over 80% of my right lung and had metastasized into my liver and my right lymph node, and was starting to travel into my heart. And we caught it just in time before it got to my heart. Now, I was just in the hospital a few weeks ago, and they did a chest x-ray, and they're gone. We have CT scans February 13th to confirm. But there is no recognizable masses on my lungs, which means we have in fact done the impossible, because I was forewarned that I would probably not ever get rid of the masses, that I would be fighting this forever. And I know that they'll probably come back and we'll have to fight this all over again. But in the meantime, the goal is to keep them away for as long as possible and keep the body healthy and strong so that when we have to do that 6 cycles again, I'm ready, because that was a fight. And I will tell you now, it's not the cancer that makes you sick. I mean, eventually, obviously it will, but I mean, we well know my birthday that year or last year, I had cancer and didn't know it. And
we had a laugh.
No clue. But boy, I tell you what, you know when that chemo kicks in.
Yeah. So, and you mentioned that, and that's something people need to hear and understand, is that when you are making decisions, first off, don't ever let anybody else's opinion dictate what you choose to do. You can let their education be a thought, but that overall decision needs to be yours. Amber will be the first to tell you that I personally would not have chose her treatment option.
Absolutely.
Now I chose part of her treatment option. We did put her on FECO, and a good amount of it. But some of those other, but you know, I wasn't in that. I wasn't there. I wasn't. I mean, I understood. I just knew that once that chemo hit, she was gonna feel like she had cancer. and we were just out for her birthday playing and having pool and having fun. Like, I don't understand how that happened so fast. So we do. Oh, James left you a comment.
Oh, thank you. Rules don't apply to us. They don't. And that's, I mean, one of the ways I've stayed strong though is I didn't even look at statistics. And it's so funny because so many people have for me.
Yeah.
And so many people are doing the research and they're out there and I've got them coming to me going, you need this and you need this. And I'm like, thanks, because I'm not looking. I refuse. I'm not going to look at numbers. I'm not going to believe it. That in itself is another struggle that you don't realize until you're in the middle of this diagnosis, because I'm technically terminal. So I should be living like I'm dying. But on the other hand, I'm supposed to be fighting so I don't. So you got to stay positive and not believe that you're dying, but still make all those preparations just in case. And it's hard, but we're fighting it.
And winning.
And winning. And winning. Winning. Man, you gotta love it when you hear the oncologists use words like miracle, amazing, unbelievable. When people walk into your hospital room and they're like, whoa, you look great. And that's, I mean, I feel great. The last blood transfusions I needed, I didn't even know I needed them. So, and I was so low.
So sorry. Show Justin.
But yeah, so I keep getting asked what my positivity secret to success is, and I mean, I say it to you all the time.
Yep,
You already know
it?
what
You
is
know-
it? God, ganja, and a great support system, and I mean that's just where it is. I am blessed with some amazing people in my life, and I wish it didn't take cancer to make it happen, but my dreams of inspiring and motivating are literally happening as we speak. And so it is what it is.
It's very interesting to be on the other side of this. So, not to take away from your story at all, but our stories include each other. So,
Absolutely.
I was sick for many years and in and out of surgeries for many years. And Amber was my cheerleader during that. Amber would call me and be like, I don't know how you have the strength to get up and do anything that you're doing. I don't know how you have the strength to do this. Like,
Or she'd call and be like, girl, you just had surgery, like a major surgery. You need to sit down.
Stop for a minute.
Stop for a minute. And, you know, she's always been, so she, at one point in time, she was like, I'm going to make sure, like, I want to be the one that tells your story. I want to be the one that writes your story. And then just how it flipped, like, and now I'm sitting here sharing your story.
My story, I know, it's so crazy. I say that all the time, that I've spent, you know, so much time trying to empower other people and help other people, and it's weird to be the one to need it. It's weird to be on that flip side too, and when, you know, the disability and the financial of it, and it's a crazy, there's so many sides that you don't think of until you're in the middle of it. But again, we're fighting it. We're figuring it out.
Amber was our first patient, or first not patient, our first cancer warrior. We don't have patients. Our first cancer warrior on the dollar program relaunch. Real quick, can you explain as one of our sponsored warriors what that is like for you? Like, how is it a difficult experience? Is
it's not a difficult experience. Once you get established with where you can pick up your medicine, it's once a week I fill out a survey that actually makes me feel really good, because it makes me realize that somebody really does care what's going on and is tracking my health besides me and my family. And I mean, I know I've got loved ones, but there's just something in knowing that somebody's there with you and cares on the medical side of it, because doctors a lot of times don't. They're very, I mean, they deal with this all the time. It's just another Tuesday for them, but this is our lives. And so it's nice to know that someone cares. So you fill out the little survey once a week, and I go, and yesterday I picked up months worth of medicine, and I can tell you that I paid less for a full month than I would have paid for one dose at a normal dispensary. And that is a big part and really important, because you're already dealing with so much that the last thing you need to be able to deal with is, can I afford to live? Can I afford to keep fighting this and keep surviving? And to know that there are people out there that want to help you do that, I mean, that's our purpose, you know. You already know. It's really weird being a member on both sides, you know, because I now understand how much not only was it our purpose, but how much we really are helping, and how much you really are helping. And I mean, and when you're on a gram a day dose, you know, you have to get as much help as you can, because when you're looking at the cheapest you can find it on the shelf, walking out the door is $20. I mean, that's $20 a day, 31 days a month. You need all the help you can get. I mean, and there's more programs out there, but
this is where Jim has been the biggest blessing. I mean, I can't take the credit of that. Like I said, we've got a fantastic partnership with Dauntless that helps us, and we'll be speaking with them here shortly. There are other people out there that are helping do this, and that just blows my mind. FECO Playbook is really dedicated to this, and so a big thank you for the impact that you guys have had on our lives, for sure.
Absolutely. Just about up.
Yep, I think our time is about up. We are going to end this, and we will. Is there any last final things you want to say?
I just support it is a big one. If you know someone that's diagnosed, if you don't, go out and find someone that's diagnosed, and just let them know that you're there, because that's really all they need from you. And any way you can help. Not everyone is vocal, not everyone, but they need the help. Whether they say it or not, they need the help. So help.
Thank you for sharing your story.
Thank you for having me here.
Ruining my mascara. I love you.
I love you.
It is an incredible journey that you're on, and I know there's not a dry eye in the whole place. I know around here, I got these aren't just dab rags over here. These are actually tears of happiness and joy. So thank you so much for sharing that with us. And so next we've got coming up the body bioavailability and nano, how we're getting this awesome medicine inside of people as quick as we can and with some great effectiveness. So again,